Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Humankind is on a flattering scale, the scale of rivers and trees and hills, not the scale of an ant or a microbe. And yet this great earth is but a speck, like a pale blue dot, like a picogram of dust, easily missed in a vast auditorium. And a thin film of gases clinging to this rock separates all upon it from a certain death. And that is the issue before us. The issue before us is death. There have been many societies that have rose and fall on this planet, yet we now know we have conquered this earth and taken everything it yields to build the modern world. A technological marvel, we have moved with it into the sixth great mass extinction in our planet's history. We are burning down a highway on a dark night, unable to see a cliff approaching up ahead. We take with us up to 200 species into oblivion every 24 hours, an extinction rate 10,000 times that of the background. The Earth is now warming 10 times faster than that of the last great extinction over 200 million years ago. Currently, the Earth awaits, among other things, a 50 gigaton methane burp to be released from the East Siberian Arctic ice shelf, which will greatly accelerate the pace of global warming, barreling us towards a projected 70% die-off of the human population and culminating in total death. The global elites. These global elites are like modern Canaanite priests who have orchestrated over the largest upward transfer of wealth in human history. These Canaanite priests of the modern day who serve similarly at the biblical idol of Moloch, which demanded child sacrifice. They have put into place mechanisms to protect their wealth, while extinguishing democracies, commodifying the entire world for profit, and turning everything, including us, into products. We have all been compelled to kneel before the dictates of the global marketplace. And what of us? Lost and hypnotized, imbibing in the happy thoughts of our technological hallucinations. In a learned helplessness or anime, a rulelessness, many of us are stuck in Life the movie. Yet to deny the reality is only to ensure our eventual immolation on the blood altar of Moloch. All living entities are being herded towards this fate now. We are being drawn into the center of a spinning black hole which spits out only empty husks. In this culture of death, all things falling victim to its nothingness. And yet we are all too busy, meanwhile, keeping our emotional addictions in check to see the end of the highway approaching in the darkness up ahead. Perhaps a 100 or 400 million year cycle will yield a civilization which has renounced this culture of death. Naturally, one would hope for such a time. Perhaps the earth too hopes and awaits for such a birthday to come. And what of hope? What of hope? The opposite of hope is not apathy. The opposite of hope is not despair. The opposite of hope is grief. And the only cure for grief is to grieve. So please, grieve. But life and living is no laughing matter. You must feel for the earth this grief right now. because I must live with great seriousness, so that one would plant olive trees when one is 70, and not for one's children, but because, even though we know death is approaching, we do not truly believe it will. Or one might be in jail and late into one's 40s, and there still may be 18 more years to serve before those iron gates will finally open. And yet one must live in the conviction that life goes on outside those walls, that people go shopping, they walk in parks, and the sun shines on them and shines on their pets. Or one might be in a laboratory, say, in one's white lab coat and safety glasses, and have the courage to die for people whose faces we have never seen, and yet to give them the courage to live on and live for something worth fighting for. And to live this way, even death will not have the final answer. And what of death? What of death? One day, too, this earth shall grow cold, like a dead cloud or block of ice, like some empty cinder. No, like an empty walnut, it will roll along in pitch-black space. A gilded mote on blue velvet, a star among stars, and one of the smallest, this great earth. It may be useful to realize that whilst astronomers have measured in all directions around the earth, everything that we see has yielded, in our most honest observations, dead silence. It may well be that Earth is the only inhabited planet with intelligent life right now in the entire universe, making incredibly rare and unique every plant, every creature, making incredibly special every person you've ever met or loved or hated, everything you've ever done or thought or said or fought for. We may well be the only thing holding back a great tide of thoughtlessness in a near infinite void. So please, feel this special right now, because resistance to the vast machinery of death is about more than winning. It is about a life of meaning. I must live as though I will never die, because even though I may fall on the first day of battle, we may still worry ourselves to death about the outcome of the war, though it may take years. I must strive, I must live as though I will never die, because the world and the earth must be loved this much, if I am truly to say that I have lived. Thank you.